And I'm gonna sort of parallel these two things. I might have had another div, and maybe that div I would give like an ID of navigation, right? But in HTML5, we want our code to be more readable, and so we now have a nav tag, which is, again, a div, but with some more explicit meaning applied to it, so that when we read this, we can see exactly what this is for, right? So now, you know, classically in a nav section of a web page, you'll have like an unordered list. And that, of course, is classic HTML. This is not HTML5. And you may have several list items, right? And so this might be your home, and this might be your about page, and this might be your, you know, I don't know, there might be a login page in here. There might be, or a careers page, something like that. So now, when you look at the header, you know exactly what this is. You just have less what we call syntactical noise. The syntax is like you have to think about, okay, I need this space here, I need this exact phrase here, I need the equal sign, I need the quotes, and you know what I'm saying? Like there's just all of this extra stuff going on, and when you multiply these two tags by several hundred or several thousand in a complex website, it can get really complicated to try to read as a human being. That's one and only one reason why the semantic side of HTML5 is considered to be the #1 feature of HTML5. But also, when a search engine is searching through this content, not everybody is going to have a nice, friendly ID of header or a class of header. Not everybody's going to have this. Somebody might have had just that. And that kind of thing is fairly common. And they might have applied a class in here. Let's say that they're going to center this. And maybe they would have had an ID here, and they called this top instead of header, right? So you know, maybe the core ideas are there, and maybe the core appearance is there. But not only is this harder for us to make sense of, it's harder for computers to make sense of. And when I talk about the computers, I'm talking about things like search engine bots that are trying to determine what are the different parts of your website so that the search engine can properly categorize your website when it comes to search results. So search engine optimization. This, I might be able to make sense of this. Div with an ID of top. Maybe that's the header section, and then maybe I'll toy with that in the code or scroll up in the website and inspect some things and determine whether or not this is in fact what I would view as a header or not. I wouldn't be able to make immediate sense of this necessarily. But when we look at this code down here, not only is it more readable and more maintainable, because it's more readable for me as a developer, but also the computer immediately knows what's the header section, what's the navigation section. All these links are probably navigation links that are probably different parts of the same website. Okay, that's really good information for a search engine to have. But not only search engines, there are other computers that are reading your code. Also, screen readers are a different kind of browser, and a screen reader will need to be able to navigate this whole document that you're creating and figure out what the different parts are so that it can verbalize the different parts of your website for someone who perhaps is blind, right? So there are lots of different reasons why we want to start thinking about using these other newer elements, even though in terms of pure behavior within the document, visually, they will work the same way. They improve the ability of other computers to read our code, and they improve the ability of other developers to read our code, or even ourselves 2 weeks from now when we've forgotten what we did and why.